Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I tell you what, man, let me throw a spotlight. Our poll, Swinton's birds, seeing you, not to put a burden on you, but your loyalty and your support has been so recognized, so appreciated. To all of you who are part of this Talcottian journey, man. Holy cows, life is a trip, man. I'm feeling good. I really am. I'm excited to get started today to discover what our future brings together here on this time. Thank you to all of you who may tune in and join, whether it's in the present time, in the live now, or on a restream on a different platform. However you find it, do the subscribe thing to Jack. There's a great story that's happening, and it brings us to today. Today, the thumbnail, well, in the background with me is love, and let's together humble ourselves before the Lord of all. And here, to quote a man who I've admired, and I'm not even clear actually how the name is supposed to be pronounced, Teach Not Han. He's such a gift. His words of love and spirituality, they're truly beautiful. This quote, "This, my dear, is the greatest challenge to being alive. To witness the injustice of this world and not allow it to consume our light." Boy, that is the truth. And what I've learned from experience, and I'm just really, anytime we're learning something from someone else, they're really just pointing out something that's already there. That's what I'm doing. I observed some things in life, some patterns, and these patterns have helped me. Whew, holy cows, man. I live with love and the results of love, and it feels pretty amazing. So, what I learned in life, bitterness, our resentment, our unsettled feelings, it comes from things we've learned, from information. So, don't let what you've learned in the past, don't let what you've learned become an excuse to hide from what you might find or to diminish your own light. It's up to you to be the light in your life, the light in your world. You need to be the one who keeps you strong so that others can be with that. So challenge yourself to stay strong, honest, and willing. I shared this earlier elsewhere. It's a simple goal to have. Have fun being honest and honestly have fun with whatever it is that you're doing. You know, be appropriate for the present moment, but find the joy within you. What I found for myself, the words from the Bible are true. I don't know about everything or every what, but the words of wisdom are no joke. There is within you, within me, I trust we're the same. There's a Holy Spirit, a divine presence that is eternally, lovingly aware, and it's with you. So the Holy Spirit, the calm mind, the heart filled with gratitude and peace and faith, all of those things go together. All of the good things in life, they come together perfectly It's our minds, man. The mind can create hell on earth, and collectively, I think human minds have done a pretty good job of bringing hell to earth, proving that misery is. But all of us, brothers and sisters, by the gift, by the grace, by the choice, whatever, by the will of God, today became today, and you and I are. We get to be a part of history. History today is happening all around this world and elsewhere. So, what I practice for myself, it's so simple. Surrender to the presence of the Holy Spirit that is eternally wrapped in the present moments. Become one with the present moments, and you become one with the Holy Spirit of life. If you can allow yourself to consider the idea that God's got you exactly where you're supposed to be right now. And wherever you go is where you're supposed to be, it's where you are. So wherever you are, God is. It's the truth inside of you. That's where your power comes from. And that truth that's inside of you, that intelligence, that knowledge, it's not to be manipulated and used against others. I'm speaking a number of different concepts here, aren't I? I love you guys. That's the conclusion. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link, and life is where it's at. Joseph, thank you sincerely. If this is honest, and regardless, this is actually what I've been hoping for. Because I realized I've stumbled, and you never do. You never get to make a first impression twice. And I've I've been living a life where life was pretty confusing for me for a while. And that, my brother, seek truth in the concept, right? Don't need the details. And you know what is true. We all know what is true. It's a frequency, it's felt, it's realized. Truth is a mystery. When our minds find closure, find an answer that's true, it allows us to move on. We're not stuck in this I don't know, a looping. I I'm describing this poorly and probably completely off what you were saying, but seeking truth is the way. Here, we there's conversations and debates I've heard regarding free will. How about this? We all have the freedom to be honest or to lie, to be dishonest. And as we receive life, we can seek that which is true, or we can play along in the false reality that the governments, the corporations, the systems profit from. Hello, I'm speaking to you. Let's become a little bit different. All of us together. We can invite others who we know to join us, and just be honest with people. Being people with people, being honest together, saying, hey, it's time for better. Better for me, better for you. It's time for us all to nurture the light of wisdom, the spark of love, desire, talent. It's time for us all to start nurturing the light within ourselves. Because there's a lot of others like us, people alive today on this day of history. They're living in some pretty painful darkness. And this world, man, this world will drive you nuts if you let it. Everything is open to interpretation, though. I mean, according to my record, praise God, man. Praise God. Jack, how many chances should we give people? That's the other side of that question, right? I'm hoping for a second chance with many others in my personal life, but that's a question. How many chances do you give people? Frankly, that's a question I've been dealing with online. Some of the characters, I know that some of the characters are certain. Some of the characters that I've been allowing to join the panel, and maybe my treatment of them, it's diminished my numbers. And numbers, results. How many chances should we give people? The words from Jesus, you forgive 70 plus 7, I mean, never ending. But let me not, the best way to answer that question is it comes from within. What is our intention? What is our intention for the other people? What is their intention? Can we give them a chance and still protect ourselves? That's what I feel like I'm doing on here. Hell, people have called me names before. People have argued against me before. It's nothing new. I'm not hurt, but praise God. Here's this question. How many chances should we give people? Like everything Everything comes down to variables and context. Every answer we're going to need, it's going to depend on different variables and context. This is where our society has deceived many of us, right? We hear an opinion from an authority or we read a rule and then think we know. And that's not really how life happens. Um, every single one of us is a source of information. We're experiencing in time as human. We're experiencing what it's like to be a human in different ways, different colors, different backgrounds, but we're all just people. We're all just people trying to figure out how to be people. And we were born into a society that rewards corruption. We live in a world where there's covert and overt, there's open and hidden violence being perpetrated against every American citizen, whether they realize it or not. I mean, at least that's the media. The media wants you to realize that you're in danger, man. You're in danger. It's time to freak out because the elections were done. Praise God, man. Praise God. I don't know if I'm making any sense or not on that. But hey, that which is, this is what I realized. And thank you. That's a beautiful reminder. Silence in the face of corruption is compliance. And today, the topic was almost going to be out of sight, out of mind. Without graphics and images, this might be hard to receive, but it's simple, it's obvious. Egoic confusion, right? Manipulation of the minds of people throughout history. It's resulted in what we've got today. The entire government and corporate structure, the way that they thrive and the way they have power is through the hierarchies, through the bureaucracies. The systems are designed to protect the systems. The systems are designed to protect secrets, to protect lies. The, the systems are broken. The systems I'm talking about is the economic system, the government system, the religious systems, I would even say, have failed us. Because had any one of the religions been on key, the world wouldn't be the way that it is, don't you think? Harpole, blessings to you, sincerely. This life, this life we've been given. Oh, out of sight, out of mind, right? So the way authority is able to sleep at night, these men and women in positions, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, they're hidden from much of the consequences of what they choose to do. They don't actually learn of the results. It's called plausible deniability. That's one of the benefits of middle management and such. Plausible deniability. You know, the shareholder and the CEO making huge profits. He doesn't actually know that the frontline employees are being exploited and mistreated. He doesn't know. He hasn't seen it. We live in a world where the criminals have risen. And I think it's time. I think God created us to do something about it. I was just about to bring you up, Smith. Maybe you're having connection problems or something. Um, oh, Jeeps. Hey, uh, I double checked and I did, in fact, I found Salty in the blocked list after the stream. I didn't see the name yesterday, but so I was honest yesterday, but turned out I was wrong. I did have her blocked, and for whatever reason, I got talked into doing it, unblocking again. Out of sight, out of mind. Today's society, the majority of the American population going along with the 9 to 5 and the mortgages and the recent release, the movies and the sports. It's called, damn it. Well, it's comfortably numb. People have become numb to the excitement of life, to the thrill of not knowing, right? What is the future going to bring? Where is that next sustenance going to come from? People have lost sight of what it's like to live. We've become comfortable with illusions of safety. And the reality is, the only way we can sleep at night, I'm speaking generically and I'm speaking as people in America. The only way I could sleep at night is if I ignore the fact that, weather's changing and there's still men and women sleeping in the street here in America. And I know many of them, particularly here near the wilderness, many people actually prefer not to be contained. But we live in a world where rebellion and wars have become the norm. See, this focus on competition that mankind has evolved with, where every household is separated by a budget. And every corporation, every business is separated by a budget. Every government is separated by a budget. We've turned life into a very, very complicated and actually toxic environment. I don't know what anyone knows. I really don't know specifically who I'm speaking with, but the world we live in today, it's corrupted. It's toxic. People have grown accustomed to trusting authority. Well, if it's on the store shelves, well, it must be safe. They looked at it. They wouldn't sell me stuff that's not good for me. Hello. Dude, the chase for profits and money, the world we live in, it's there's so much evil and corruption happening in this world. The only way we can find comfort is if we ignore what we know. So if we can ignore what we know in order to be comfortable, what does that show? Sorry, my mind is off chasing that thought in different ways because we'll bring it back to the topic, I guess. Nurture your light. It's one of the things I said earlier is I've come to really humble myself and truly appreciate the wisdom offered forth in the Bible. Um, the wisdom is true. We are here to live with love. We're not here to compete or I think here. Sorry, we got a guest, and give me just a moment here. I think it's all right, but is that you, Stephen?
Hello, yes, it's me, Jack.
It is you.
It
Okay,
is me, yes.
welcome.
Thank
Um,
you.
how are you today?
I'm doing very well. I feel blessed and grateful. I'm happy. It's good to be here. Hello to everyone here. Hope that you're having good holidays if you're in America. It's a snowy day here, and thought I'd hop on and see what's going on here. You said nurture the what was it? Nurture the light.
Yes,
I think that's a good thing to do.
it's a concept that, frankly, I never really thought much about these ideas in my life. But there is a great value to be found from conscious, intentional thoughts of light, love, you know, positivity. This comment, Jackie, can't have a conversation healing if half the country get muted, banned, or kicked out. Polite society every time it opens its mouth. It didn't come across clear there, but we live in a world where confusion has been enabled, and it's by a perfect design. It's a perfect pattern and design from what I can tell. And that's why I have faith in an intelligent design of us. And I have faith in the idea of that power of God, the glory of God. I took us way off track there. Cognitive dissonance is real. It's no joke. The human ego, the human ego, when it feels threatened, whether it's real threats or imagined threats, perceived threats, people will get violent if you tell them things they don't want to hear,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. I've encountered that before.
It's it's crazy. But what I've come to humble myself when we communicate, and actually it's there's a lot involved, but I have been working to improve my ability to communicate. And I know that our energies, our tone, everything matters. Which reminds me, I saw an advertisement and I haven't signed up yet, but nonviolent communication. Have you come across that, Stephen? Dr. Rosenberg, I think is his name.
No, I haven't. I've never read that.
It's Marshall Rosenberg, I think is his name. It's nonviolent communication. It's such a beautiful method. And again, anything we're learning, all of these experts, they're pointing out and explaining things that are there. There are natural ways for people to communicate, to use the right words and the right approach to get beyond the egos. And the reason I brought up the nonviolent communication is I saw there's a course on it, and it's something I promote, so I should probably continue my growth in it. But the reason I bring it up is we have all these wars, all these disagreements, all of the competition. Everything is crazy because communication hasn't really been taught, hasn't been demonstrated. How about that? On the media and such, we don't show examples of healthy communication as often as we do arguments and accusations. It's crazy, man.
That's interesting because I think it's a synchronicity here where Rusty asked me, Stephen, why do you always sound like you're on the verge of catatonic depression? I hope it's just a bit like Adam Sandler's nervous delivery style. Rusty, I've got to say that's kind of funny, but I do sound very calm and smooth. A lot of people they think that I'm zen or falling asleep. It relaxes people to sleep. A lot of people fall asleep on the phone listening to me, and I'm not offended. I like that my voice can soothe people, so I'm not depressed. But maybe my voice is kind of a nonviolent communication because I'm being gentle and smooth and zen and calming. I'm not a violent person. I'm really not.
I I I trust in that. And it's interesting the way that you were described. Um, and admittedly, Stephen, while there's been examples to conflict, you have been a good example of communicator, of not getting, you know, caught up in the energies.
Yes, I try to keep it even, Steven, an even keel. I try I
Yeah.
try to I try to lighten it up, and I try to, I try to be gentle to people. I'm not someone that likes to be violent. I do try to amuse
You
people.
well, yes, you have your tendencies. Anyway,
Yeah.
this comment. It's easy to beat confusion. It only takes two steps. Number one, listen to Jack. Number two, believe everything he says. Now you're no longer confused.
Who's this Jack character here?
I
Jack
don't know.
Sarden. Oh,
I don't know, man. Holy cows. Um, hey, this is it's one of the paths. Yes, it's one of the there's so many ways to explain the same things. Nonviolent communication, it requires us to consciously change our perception so we get out of our own ego, and then we can uh, try to better get in the heart of another. So um, the key to understanding, it's truly the steps I found. If we want to communicate with another, the parties must feel safe. And so if this is what a lot of the events I went to as well, they do a guided meditation and put these thoughts in your mind of gratitude and peace and light and love, God. And then from a place of safety, that's where we should be able to discuss everything from the past, everything from the future. We should be able to discuss anything. But emotions, man, they're tricky. But this is what I mean. I feel blessed.
yes.
Here, The Talcottian adventure. So recently, and I've been pursuing this for a long time, I'm still seeking to have a conversation with one of the pastors, any of the people from Veterans for Peace, or, and most recently, I started reaching out to the last psychiatrist that was involved in my story. I'm just trying to have conversations with people. I mean, one of the early comments was about giving Jack a chance. We got
Yes.
to give we got to give love a chance. We got another guest here. Um, Interesting character. Welcome, Aaron. How are you
Hello, how
today?
are you, Jack?
Oh, hello, Aaron.
King Stephen, the person that believes, I guess he's better than everybody or something.
What? No, no.
Was it last time I talked to you? You were telling me about how you own like houses and that. I don't know. You're just telling me about this stuff that you're a
Uh,
landlord.
I'm into
Okay,
real estate, yes, but what
is
does that
that
have to do with anything?
yeah, is that of any importance?
Well, I
Aaron,
mean, I'm
please
just
join us in
judging
the
his
present.
character. I
Please join
judge his
us.
character. Yeah,
You get it, Stephen.
you're supposed to
Hey,
judge each other's character, Jack. I don't know if you're aware of
Aaron,
that.
Aaron, the thoughts you think are not always accurate. And I know you like to try and you offer a lot of corrections. And I see your heart. But the religions have taught Christians, especially, to judge. Um, but what they leave out of the equation is understanding. You should never judge what you don't understand because you won't ask questions once you form an opinion.
What's there to understand about what is King Stephen, by the way? Lord and Savior King Stephen owns many properties,
I'm blushing.
and he
That
makes sure that you know it, and he makes sure to tell you that.
okay, well, maybe that happened in the past, but that didn't happen today. That came from you in your memory banks.
Hmm.
So you found it of importance for today. And here's, hey, you know what,
You say you
Aaron?
like to have conversations, but I
I
don't
know.
think that you do.
Well, you did again. Good deflection,
Because
Aaron.
you're taking
Aaron,
offense to everything I say. It don't make a fuck what. I mean, it
Aaron,
really don't.
Aaron.
You don't listen to a fucking thing I say,
Wow,
and
Aaron,
you take a fucking offense to every goddamn thing.
why so
I'm,
And
angry?
it's fucking
What's the
annoying
angry
as
energy?
goddamn hell.
I don't
um,
think Aaron's a bad guy, but he's very confused and jealous and bitter. I'm getting some bitterness coming from
he's
him.
triggered. He's triggered. So,
What's wrong,
Aaron,
Aaron?
I'm
if
tired of talking to the goddamn stupid niggers that think
hey,
they're,
whoa, 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 whoa,
just
whoa,
so
whoa, whoa,
goddamn
whoa,
smart.
whoa, whoa. Tell you what, why don't you yield for a moment? You seem to be kind of in your feelers. So,
Yeah, I get fucking angry at stupid people that I'm trying to goddamn educate.
well, hey, maybe you're the stupid one for
No, maybe
focusing
you
on
are
what
the goddamn. They're the fucking stupid one. I'm not the fucking.
you're not listening. You're looping. Aaron, please, what you're accusing me of? Hello, that's you, my friend. So, can you chill out and we can have a conversation? I don't like assuming. See, and this is the issue with the ego. It doesn't want to cooperate, it doesn't want to surrender, it doesn't want to admit. So, Aaron, you're a good guy. I've seen that in you. Okay, you got a good heart, but holy cows, you're trusting your mind. You're trusting your judgment. And that is the egoic way. That's what America has created, though. The world is literally run by imagination. How about that? I can make that conclusion.
Yes, he sounded angry and kind of racist, some of his language.
He's had a different background than me. I've had I've had I oh, actually what that is. Why does someone cling to beliefs of that? It's because they are lacking inside themselves. The way the bitter ego will work, we see a lot of examples online. The way the bitter ego works is it casts out negativity, and it'll use information it knows to diminish others. So why would a person want to diminish others? To make themselves feel better. And this is the world we live in. It's the idea of celebrity, it was fabricated. People were conditioned into believing that somehow the people on the screens were, oh, they're important. Oh my God, I gotta get near to them. And then the same thing with these friggin' politicians.
Yes.
It's nonsense. It's all made up, and people believe in the lies. And I'm not judging, because I used to believe in the lies. But what I've learned is, we're all on our own individual paths of development. But in a world of lies and trauma and the conditioning on memorizing, and the conditioning has people not understanding who they are. So how do we know who we are? It comes down to the duality, truth or lies. We dismiss, no, not dismiss. We diminish the negative. We diminish the negative in us, around us, in our thoughts, and we enhance the positive, because the positive is true. The true, I'm misspeaking these ideas. I heard this explained from that guy Aaron Abke recently, but
Oh, yeah, he's very positive. He's a very positive minded spirit, you might say.
I think he's a very gifted young man. He's an excellent teacher. He presents the Course of Miracles. Um, I welcome conversations from anybody. I'm easily reached. Hey, regarding Aaron Abke, this oops, doggone it. Kind of slow with the technology stuff here. But this was the lesson I had earlier today, Course of Miracles. It's kind of in line to this. These thoughts, these ideas, you can throw them away or use them, but they bring peace to me. This day is God's. I didn't create the day. It is my gift to Him. I will not lead my life alone today. I do not understand the world, and so to try to lead my life alone must be but foolishness. For there is one who knows all that is best for me, and he is glad to make no choices for me but the ones that lead to God. I give this day to him, for I would not delay my coming home, and it is he who knows the way to God. So we give today to you. We come with wholly open minds. We do not ask for anything that we may think we want. Give us what you would have received by us. You know all our desires and our wants. and He will give us everything we need in helping us find the way to you. And what I know is in my personal relationship, I know God to be true. And so I seek to continue to grow in my relationship with the truth of the life I'm living. Hey, and you know what, Arpol? Yes, you are absolutely right. Thank you. I encourage people, at least open that up and check the link. Should I play this? Why not?
Yeah.
Let's do this. Oops. Here we go. From Talcott Shorts collection from last night.
Back again, I use my back against the wall. Never caught on y'all, never count on y'all.
As a
Always
humble
count on God.
witness to the glory of our God.
He's done miracles on me. 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 He's done miracles on me.
So
He's done miracles
you got to become
on me.
comfortable venturing into the unknown. What's it mean to be a human? You like Jesus, but I didn't understand God. And then I set a goal to be more like Jesus. Keep trying. And keep trying. Hey, to whoever's behind the Talcott Shorts collection, sincerely, I thought that was flattering and fun, and it kind of highlighted some of the backgrounds that I've been offered. Life is crazy, man.
Oh, I thought that was your channel. That's not from you.
No, it's not me. Oh yeah. Hey, we have another guest. Welcome, OTW.
Oh, OTW.
Hi, Jack.
Hey, Patrick.
I was just wondering, considering the clip you just played, did that actually inflate your ego, or you did not enjoy watching that? Was like that despicable to you? What can I have your perspective on the video? Is that permitted
Kind
as
of
a
rude.
question right now?
Great question.
Is that a great question? I mean, it's
I just want to know if that makes you
OTW.
happy or not. I guess
I
make it
answered.
more.
Did you not hear me? Did you not listen to my words already?
I might be lagging. Sorry, I might be lagging.
I said it was very fun and flattering.
Yes.
I enjoyed it.
Oh, all right.
So the other question though is, why are you so focused on opinions? What would my opinion tell you? So now that I answered your question, what did that tell you?
Well, okay. I mean, okay. That brings me another question then. What miracles have you done?
OTW, please answer my question. I've already answered your question, and here's what I know is happening. You joined with your egoic ideas. Oh, this is a good idea. I'll diminish Jack again. And it's not going to happen. So explain, since I told you, after seeing that clip, I found it to be fun, flattering. I enjoyed the tune. So what did you learn by my answer? What did it tell you about me?
That you also have as a big of an ego as I. That would pretty much sum it up. And
What?
at the same
Okay,
time, the
great.
people that make videos like that enable your egotistical, narcissistic personality. So I do
OTW,
find that really kind of sad to see, and you
I
actually enjoy that.
know.
You enjoy
Hey,
that. That's fascinating.
OTW.
Fascinating, my friend.
Okay. Are we done? You can keep your
Well,
confusion. I don't need your bullshit, OTW. You're such an irrelevant clown in my life. So what he wanted to prove is that I'm just as worthless as him. He doesn't know me. He only he's one of the flying monkeys from Paul Unslaved, if for those who may not realize. So,
Oh yeah, he's linked with him. Yeah.
Joseph, welcome. Sorry about the brief negativity there.
No, I actually
Hello,
joined because
Joseph.
I wanted to spar with that guy a little bit, but looks like he's gone.
There I go again. Perhaps I missed an opportunity out of my own frustration, lack of patience. Joseph, thank you.
It's all good.
This life we're living, it is what it is. I'm going to turn you up just a little bit. I don't claim to know the answers. I can explain the conclusions I've made, and I can explain why I've done what I've done. I can explain why I do what I do. Here's what I realized. Mankind, we've overcomplicated life. It's not that difficult. The key to life, regardless of situation, is to be present. Be present with your mind, be present with your heart. Recognize I am here, but this body is not me. I am this experience. I am the energy of light here in this moment. And if we can stay grounded while others are frantic, while others are fighting, if we can stay grounded, and online has been practice for me, it allows our mind to stay open. And when our mind is calm, regardless of the chaos that surrounds us, when our mind is calm and our heart feels present and safe, we can hear that small silent voice, the whispers that lead us. I'm learning how to do this better myself, okay? But I've been practicing this for quite a while. This is a misrepresentation of what I'm saying, Jack. This is exactly opposite. So you're clearly confused. The key is to be present, assume responsibility for the experience and the moment you are having. So become responsible for everything. And actually, you don't live in delusion when you give your mind to God. I used to think that was crazy, the religious people praising God. That made no sense. When we give our mind to the higher power, to the spirit of everything, we live with freedom. We live with freedom. And each of us has this freedom. We're free to ignore whatever we want. And the world has created a lot of willful ignorance, selective memories, people who want to remember only the bad of someone. That way they can go around and talk bad about them. That's what OTW and Paul and Margot and Snafu and blah, 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 blah. Praise God. Recognize that wherever we go, that's where we are. How we feel about where we are and what we're doing, that's up to us. And if we don't pay attention to how we feel, we'll lie to ourselves. And someone who will lie to themselves, they'll sure as hell lie to someone else. And people who lie, how do you trust them? What I realized for myself, there's one life I'm living. Whether there's reincarnation, whether there's other lives that I might experience, I don't know. Does it matter? What matters is I'm living this life where once I was a boy, and then I was a rebellious teenager, and then I was a soldier, and then I was an employee, and I played all these roles. In my experience, all of my life is now, just like you. And right now, as our paths cross together, we are the life being lived, despite what we think. Welcome, Margot.
Hi, Jack. What am I being blamed for now?
Hello, Margot.
Everything.
Hi, King Stephen.
All the bad stuff is your fault, Margot.
No.
No, I just said
I'm
you were a character that developed. You as a character are very similar to the patterns of characters I've met. Margot, there's Snafu, Tommy, Paul, Chuck, lots and lots of people who don't really know me.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you find the term character as being derogatory, or it's just something that you've chosen to put some of us in that arena? Are you a character, Jack?
I've used that term quite often.
Okay.
Yes. Please, I encourage you, instead of finding ways to approve or disapprove.
I'm just asking questions.
We need like a
if
catchy phrase for a semantic showdown. You know what I mean?
Well, the key should be, are my words accurate or not? Okay, so I can pick a different version. You guys are all clowns in my experience. I was trying to be polite.
I'm a clown?
Well, the behavior has been hilariously unexplained so far, but lots of excuses.
I can explain anything you'd like me to.
I know, you very imaginative mind.
Actually, I do have a great imagination, but when it comes to important topics, I do very well.
Margot, did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Did you, Joseph?
Oh yeah, very relaxing.
Good. Most of my family doesn't celebrate. They're either in Canada or in England, but I had a friend of mine, actually I went all through grade school, high school, and college with, who invited me over to her beautiful home here in Arizona. So we had dinner outside and we played left, right, center. It was very fun.
Oh, that sounds nice.
How was yours?
Like I said, it was relaxing.
Good.
Nothing more you could ask for than that.
Perfect.
Well, Joseph, do you have any care about things I've said? I mean, now that you and I've mentioned that Margot has actually been in my words,
there's not much more to tack on. It's not really.
Well,
I mean, you usually don't have any like specific topics when you start your live up, and I think that's what leaves it so open for the.
Joseph, who told you that?
It was an inference I made.
Well, it may be an assumption you made, because I don't think you know what's going on here.
I've been around for some of the lore between you
two.
Like
I said, I don't think you know what's going on here. You're here now in the present moment. And if you understand the lore as you claim, I have honestly said that Margot has been a problem in my life since 2018. Now, she joins, and you were I appreciate the politeness, and you certainly have care for her. I wonder why, though.
It's a
Why,
relitigating. You like to
why am I placed in the background so you can exchange pleasantries with someone who has been a problem in my life? And again, to
Jack, are you
correct
hoping that
you,
people are?
and to correct you, not to insult, you said kind of dismissively that I have no topic when I start. Today, the topic is nurture your light. On my chest is my purpose, the purpose of Veterans for Peace, ending wars. Now, why? I think part of the problem has been people have been paying attention to the lore, finding entertainment in the chaos. But this is my life, Joseph. Okay.
sure. I don't know why you're
Thank
taking
you.
offense. I'm just what I was trying to say is it seems like you want to relitigate. So
No, please understand me. I am seeking resolve. I'm seeking her awareness and acknowledgement of the fact that her fears she imagined, her
I'm not afraid of it.
superiority she imagined
I'm not afraid of
is,
anything.
I know.
well, don't characterize it like I have a dog in the fight. I don't have any dog in the fight, man.
Are you here and present on my live stream, or you just want to go to the chat? I mean, I don't.
That's up to
This
you.
is happening here
You
right
get to
now.
curate your live stream how you want. It's not my
Mhm.
choice. If you're asking me what I want, clearly I clicked the hop on link, so there's your answer.
I don't want this to turn into a fight. Would you allow me to mediate for just a minute with this?
Would you
Joseph,
please?
I think you might be coming here a little bit confused, a little
Oh,
bit
sure.
feisty, just a little bit feisty. I'm not putting you down, Joseph, but you are doing remarkably well for not having a dog in the fight, but being a dog, speaking dog, and going through this. But I had to put that in there, Jack. I'm sorry, but we have to lighten the mood up a little bit.
You're right. You're
I
right.
don't think Joseph is a bad person. I think he just might be a
Nope.
little confused.
Stephen, you're right, and thank you. A little more levity to the mood is appropriate. And if Joseph, yes, I'm not feeling actual true intentions, but if Joseph was feeling defensive, it may have been because of me. But what I'm trying to get people to do is see what is real. I claim to be, well, as I've said, with the purpose to be, I pray to be a messenger for God. But when I'm mocked and ridiculed, when I'm avoided, it doesn't help my chances of success. So, Margot, you are amongst many others who has had fun at my expense. You too, Chuck, wanting to point out the problems you find in me and how the many failures in my life.
May I respond?
Ask yourself.
May I respond?
Sure.
2 days ago, I came on your panel and I pointed out some very nice things that you had done for people recently. And I gave you some friendly advice. I thought we were in a good place.
You've been in denial for a long time, Margot. You want to
Held a
wipe?
grudge, Margot.
No, Chuck. Don't, unless you're prepared to actually explain with facts, don't jump to your old conclusions, buddy. Okay? So, Margot, what I was saying is my life has brought me to here.
Could King Stephen kind of mediate this situation as well, please?
Sure, I would love to. I want to say to Jack, I think that Margot was very polite and very considerate and complimentary the other day. And today, I think she came in curious about the character word. I don't think she was mocking you. I think she was legitimately, sincerely curious when she came in today. Jack, I understand, though, at the same time, that you have feelings and maybe some resentment for what the history, we'll say, the lore, the history over the years. And it might be hard to get past that, even when someone comes in with good intentions. I think Margot is here today with good intentions. That's the vibe I'm getting. I'm not getting that vibe from Chuck, I've got to say. I'm getting a different vibe from Chuck today. I think Joseph came in here a little bit feisty, as I said, like German Shepherds can be a little bit feisty, but his bark's worse than his bite, I think.
You know what? We're all people learning how to be ourselves and learning about each other. And Joseph, you may not know what's going on. A lot of people, it hasn't clicked. It hasn't registered what's
Well,
actually
how long
happening.
does it take? Can you like enlighten me in a minute or less, or I'll just give you that. I don't know. I won't even argue it.
You know, there's a lot of pieces. All I'd suggest is, well, I don't want to suggest anything. I want to invite you to become curious about what is happening. Okay, maybe the past conclusions were accurate, maybe they weren't, but what is happening when I click go live, and especially when I open the link and drop the link, this is my life being lived. Now, there's a lot of other panels that just do this for, get donations and people come and hang out and gossip. But I'm actually pretty serious about how I live. And my intentions each day are to share some of the knowledge that I've been learning. But what it's proven to me is, the egoic mind. Selfish people don't give a shit about what's true. All they care about is what they think or
Yeah,
what
well,
they
most
feel.
people never actually go through an ego death. Most of the time, mushrooms are a catalyst for it. Was that your experience?
No.
Okay, well,
I went through several, well, I faced death
exactly.
several
Yeah.
times in many different ways. And I've surrendered the ego death. Sorry, Joseph. Yes, the ego death. It's a surrender of the self. And I've reached levels of that. And I am here.
I think it's interesting you coupled it with death. I think those are tandem. It's the fear of death, which a lot of people are controlled by, and then the ego death. But I don't think most people go through that. I really don't.
Hey, Joseph, you're right. Here's my testimony, right? 2018, my life began. That's when I became detached from the world. I no longer had the security I had to detach. I had to detach or just suffer from my family, from my income, from my reputation, from everything. I've had to let everything go. And at first I was broken, but I I decided I'm not going to be fucking broken again. I've played that role in this life, so I give it up to God. Good game, God. Good game.
Yeah, but that's usually not it. When that happens to people and they lose a lot, they actually put up boundaries. So it's relational boundaries. When you meet someone new, you always keep them at arm length. Even when they're really close to you, you still keep everybody at a distance after that. That's
I tend to be an exception for many rules.
maybe.
And there's not egoically, it's honest. I have patterns in my life that bring forth who I am today. And it's my theory, Joseph. It's not been investigated, not by anyone interested in me being right, but I claim my life story has many rings. It's got similarities to many of the biblical ones. Who I am today, part of my story is I surrendered me to commit me to God. I did that in 2018, and I guess I've been learning what that means since then. So I've been saying since for a long time, I believe it is us, we are the return of Christ when men and women, children of God, unite together with the purpose of bringing peace to this world. We have the path.
May I ask a question?
Please.
Stephen, will you ask Jack if he wants any harm done to me?
Jack, do you want any harm done to Margot, or are you someone that values her life and her well-being, maybe even cares for her?
Harm or retribution, Margot?
Is there seriously a reason I need to ask that? Can you not? I mean, tell you what, I will answer, but I'm curious if anyone else might be willing to venture a guess. Am I seeking harm to Margot or
Well,
my ex-wife or my son?
You seem to
No.
not like the fact that Joseph and I were just catching up for a second.
Okay, Margot. Okay, so you jump to the conclusion.
No, that's why I asked the question.
So because you misinterpreted my behavior on the live stream, you felt the need to ask if I intended harm to you. Am I understanding you correct? You make no sense, lady.
No, actually, I was listening to you because you're one with God and you want peace.
Mm-hmm.
And you're offering peace. Are you offering peace to me? Or
Yes,
Stephen can ask you that. I don't know.
Margot, you don't have to play your silly games. Yes, Margot, can you recognize the present? Can you feel the peace that's here and now?
No, I cannot.
No, you cannot. So is that my fault?
I'll have to side with Margot on this one.
I'm not going to put blame. I'm not going to put blame on you, Jack. It's how I feel.
Okay, so how about this?
Tell me how I feel.
You're right. But here's something I've learned, right? My studies of self-awareness, my studies of mind and emotions, despite your opinions on what I may or may not have learned, Margot, the facts are the feelings that are arising within you. The answer to why you're not comfortable is also within you.
I didn't
So I
say
encourage you.
Well, I'm very comfortable. Thank you.
Okay.
I got a question. You said this earlier on the stream. You said somebody commented and you pulled up a thing and it was like, how many second chances do we give? And you were saying, why do we give them, or what are the metrics that we give them out? Maybe a better way to phrase the question would be, what would it take for Jack's forgiveness?
Holy cows. Please recognize that Margot is an example of one I have forgiven over and over and over. And Joseph,
that's fine.
Actually, considering what you said,
sure,
Margot would probably be based on the facts and my experience with her. She would probably be exactly the type you said would be pushed away. Yet, while I may not be, kissing her ass, she's here. She's not being disrespected greatly. She's not being called names. I'm not accusing her of anything. So
well, actually, you did.
Maybe Margot needs to search her heart.
Margot, do you need to search your heart and offer Jack forgiveness? Sounds
No,
like he's saying balls in your court.
no, I'm feeling very complete, and I thought I made that quite apparent 2 nights ago.
Hey, Margot,
I
have
was
you
just
done?
surprised when I heard my name earlier, and that's why.
I know you're so. See, the thing is, you don't have to be surprised. You don't have to be confused. You can understand when you stop thinking you've done nothing wrong against me, Margot. So I'm not looking for anything. You're free. You can stay in denial your whole life. I don't give a shit. And Chuck, you too. So I think we're done trying to talk.
If I may say something here, Jack, I think that Margot might have been, rightfully so, offended that her name was mentioned after Paul's. Any of us, let's face it, if we had our name mentioned with Paul, that stinky clown, I mean, that narcissistic big fat loser, we'd probably be offended, right?
Stephen,
Yes.
my words are accurate. How she feels about what I say, she takes things out of context. I don't give a shit what she thinks anymore. She's clearly illogical, bitter, resentful. And, you know, you've created your story, Margot. And when my life changes, it won't be your bullshit that dominates anymore, Margot. Chuck, why don't you guys please? Thank you for joining. I don't intend to bring you up again today, Margot. So, anything else?
No, bye, Jack. Have a nice day. Bye, Stephen.
Goodbye, Margot. Nice to see
Bye,
you.
Chuck. Bye, Chuck.
I'm confused as to why Chuck joined, though. He didn't offer anything here
Bye,
today.
Joseph.
Adios.
Chuck, why are you here? What do you have to offer us?
I guess he's
Chuck?
not here.
Maybe he's not even paying attention.
He goes and takes up space.
He might have fallen asleep or something.
Probably on the pot.
Oh, man. Chuck, how disrespectful.
Hey, my honesty here as a man, I guess my frustration is real. Maybe there is still some resentment because, well, yeah, yesterday, a day of family, a day of Thanksgiving, not one person from my past, still not a fucking word from anyone. Yet Margot knows people. She knows people she's told to avoid me. She knows people she's told to whatever. This is my life.
That's
Every
the point
one
I'm
of
trying
us.
to get at, man.
What are you
But
trying to get at, Joseph?
okay, so you can call this trolling or not. It really wasn't intended to be that way, but she comes on. I can see where that's going, so I tried to do a segue, a brief interruption, and then it sounded like you weren't too happy about it.
Nope.
And that's why I asked about the forgiveness thing again, because it doesn't sound like you're interested in it at all.
Or,
and, you know, that could be justified or not, but
or you made some assumptions. Okay,
sure.
you're right. I understand what you were doing, and I can appreciate it. But you didn't understand what was happening here. And what you did was you deflected, and like I've explained, the pleasantries. Many panels do this, and again, many panels do this. People join in their side conversations, and it's normal. So I'm not saying anyone did anything wrong, but
well, let me ask you this question then: Is the current dynamic of how your lives and the arguing, is that what you're looking for and trying to cultivate, or are you trying to shift it to something different? Just curious.
Yes, I am definitely focused on trying to shift it away. Some of the participants, they've been being more well behaved and stuff, but it still is not what I want. Although I did make a connection today. I crossed online. I've got a guest I'll be inviting sometime, and I won't give too many details because I've got people actively trying to make me fail. But yeah, we should have a guest joining, and the purpose of this stream, seriously, self-development is no joke. I invested a lot of money in that. I know the benefits that people are finding,
Well,
that
here,
I have found.
just to follow up to my question then. So if you are trying to shift the dynamic, pragmatically speaking, wouldn't you want, okay, so say you bring Margot up, somebody tries to shift it in that direction. Pragmatically speaking, that's what you should want. Otherwise, don't bring that person up at all. And
Okay.
so people from the outside looking in would view it through this lens and say, well, it's kind of it doesn't make much sense.
Okay,
Right?
Joseph. Right.
Yeah.
Again, please try to understand before you
Oh, I'm
insist
trying. I
that I'm
really
wrong.
am.
I believe that. What I am seeking to do is find resolve. Okay, while I'm on here with the purpose and intentions of sharing inspiration, encouragement, ideas on growing and achieving, while I'm on here trying to encourage and inspire a better world, I'm literally trying to pick up the pieces of my life. Okay. So far, people haven't really shown much interest in helping me succeed, but I've had a lot of people wanting me to fail.
You know, you're
Margot
old
is
enough to
one of those.
understand there are no handouts. No one gives a fuck.
Joseph,
Just the
I'm
truth.
not asking for handouts. I'm asking for the disrespect to stop. Not just to stop, but for people, human beings, to become honest about what they have done in my life. Margot is one of those. I'm confronting her egoic lies.
There's a lot of history between Jack and Margot, as I understand it, if I may jump in here and say that I think Jack has a vision for his show. He takes this seriously. I can sense that Jack really does. He is serious. He takes this show seriously. He doesn't want it to turn into a clown fest or a chit chat show like other shows. That's what I'm getting from what Jack just said. He wants his show to be different, and it's not measuring up to Jack's vision of what he wants for this space.
King, Mr. King, do you know
Yes.
what the definition of counterintuitive is?
Yes, I do.
So you can have a goal, but everything you do is counterintuitive towards that goal.
Absolutely, yes.
So then you understand it.
With his
Sounds like
result.
King Stephen.
Joseph, I understand. I do understand what you're saying, and it's feedback I'll consider later. However, when I do these streams, this is not just a live stream. This is my life. My life, the story of my life when I found God in 2018. Everyone in Spokane pushed me away. Margot was a part of that, pushing me away with false accusations, false reports, basically harassment, but I'm not complaining. So, what I am trying to do, though, is I believe, well, I know for a fact that the end of secrets and lies is where mankind is headed.
Sure. I'll leave it here on this point. If a person like me feels like they need to walk on eggshells when they're talking to you, when we're talking about the normal person, you're basically Sisyphus pushing the boulder up the hill, because
Okay.
I can deal with a lot of cognizance. I can deal with a lot of anger, a lot of ad hom. It doesn't really bother me that much. I'm pretty comfortable where I'm at. So if a person like me is walking on eggshells with you,
You should ask yourself why.
it's what I'm trying to say is it's probably not me, right?
Well,
There's
Joseph, please,
probably something nested in the way that
possibly, Joseph, and I'm
I'm
You're
sorry
a
for
good
trying
boy,
to be
Joseph.
very delicate with how I say this, but
I realize that, but please recognize,
sure,
okay?
sure.
I'm doing my best. I really am. And the reality is, if you step back from all the criticisms and all the things I do wrong, generically,
Yeah, but if
I'm,
somebody levies a criticism towards you and you
hey,
say, "Listen,
Joseph,
bro, this is my
okay,
life right here,"
all right. Hey,
it's
Joseph,
it's a
tell you what,
shutdown. It's a
I know,
negation.
I know, I know. You can
Okay.
be right. You can be right.
This is evident.
Criticism, hey, Joseph, criticism's received. You're not actually wanting to understand. And that's fine. When you're ready,
Did
you'll
hold
see
on.
what I'm saying.
I tried to just steelman your point of view. Are you saying I was wrong when I said that your rebuttal is I'm living my life. This is my life. Is that an inappropriate steelman of your position? Because you're saying I'm not understanding. Help me understand.
You think your role here is to offer me feedback and criticism. You're mistaken about what a better use of our time could be.
Well, then let me know what my role is. Apparently,
I can't choose what you want to do.
Well,
Now,
you said you think your role is. Is it an inappropriate role? What should my role be?
can you just chill
Yeah.
and
Go
be?
ahead. Go ahead.
Welcome, Hank. How are you, brother?
I'm doing pretty well.
Hello, Hank.
The legend of Hank. Welcome.
Hello, Hank.
Oh,
Hey, tell you what, Joseph, what you're pointing at is my ability to communicate. I don't lie. I mean, I don't deny. I'm trying to improve my ability to communicate. But what I haven't understood is why my desires and my intentions and my efforts, they've been so overlooked for many involved.
Is that
I've
transference? What do you mean? I'm not overlooking shit. Everyone
Joseph,
overlooks you in your life, and it's a
Joseph,
transference.
Joseph, there's something unique happening in my life.
All right,
Okay.
go ahead. Sorry.
So far, none. I have boxes of evidence. I have complete details of the unfoldment of my story where I have been repeatedly misunderstood, wrongfully accused. I've been misrepresented publicly by people, many people. I'm attempting to overcome it on my own, Joseph, but I know I'm not alone. I know God is with me. I know there's many people who see the value that I'm offering. There's many people who do see what's going on.
Okay.
Jack, I have a real honest question, and I think it might be helpful. Do you feel overwhelmed by criticism, and are you the type of personality type that might not hear compliments and feel love? Because you are loved here by a lot of people. Do you feel the love of people here coming to support you, or do you feel like overwhelmed by the criticisms where it's hard to hear or see the compliments that happen here and the support?
I used to be real sensitive to opinions, shit like that. Now I go to the facts. What do the
Mm-hmm.
facts show? What is the evidence I'm finding in my life? Well, the facts show that I have not been invited or really truly brought in anywhere, as physically, especially since 2018. I keep going to churches, I keep going to meetings, I keep going places, and I keep getting ignored. I've accepted it. I think God has placed these, you know what? God is. God is unfolding time with us. I've just been allowed the education and the experience to learn how to accept that. God is
So
with us.
a lot of that hurt, rejection, frustration, feeling happening in so-called real life is brought here to YouTube and to your show. There's no difference between your life and your show. They're one and the same. Is that what you're getting at? Like,
The
okay.
patterns have been continuing, and I have been hoping to find someone. Those who have judged me in the past, I've been hoping for a new start. And maybe Margot was offering that, and maybe it is me. Maybe I am overlooking, expecting more, but you guys don't know what I faced. Not with that lady. She has been merciless and so cruel. So I prayed. I've prayed that Margot, Paul, Snafu, Tommy, my son, my ex-wife, I pray that their confusion be lifted.
Sure, but you have King Stephen here right now. He what used to be one of your biggest opposers.
You know what? You're
No,
right.
you're trying to start something, though. I think
No, but actually, Stephen, he's right. I did offer that with you. Here's the difference. Stephen arrived with an energy. You know, we haven't discussed the past. We haven't resolved it. I haven't done that with Margot either. But he's certainly not here trying to diminish me.
I'm really, and I want to say this very clearly. I'm here to try to understand and try to help and heal if I can. Help Jack and help his relations with others here. If I can mediate, I'm offering my services as a mediator, free services here. And I really do care. So I am here from a place of caring. I think Joseph is a good boy. He deserves some pets and belly rubs and scratches. I don't think that.
Please
I don't
don't do
think that.
that.
Well, Joseph is a dog. He's a talking dog, but
No.
I don't think Joseph is a bad person. He's a good boy.
Actually, Joseph, you've been a wonderful
Stephen,
example.
hold
for
on.
me.
Stephen,
Yes.
don't patronize me. Otherwise, there
No.
will be an issue. Okay.
I am not patronizing you. I view you as a very intelligent talking dog. Your picture's a dog,
Here,
and I take you at your.
please. Actually, if I may, Joseph,
Okay.
you have been another good example for me. Staying present, staying attention, and I do trust you. You're trying to understand, guys. Life is happening. That's what I know. Life is happening, and we're all living these lives we're living in the bodies we're living. My story of the past as a man, and I'm not complaining, but the facts show I was put through the ringer, man. I was emotionally tested in ways that I had never imagined. And I'm not ashamed of who I'm becoming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm becoming a better man because of the challenges in the past. But I've been praying for so long, guys. You just have no clue. I've been praying for so long. When am I worthy, God? When is it going to change?
Sounds like you're lonely, man.
It's been me and God. I've been alone in this world since 2018. And not just alone, but criticized and people actively going out of their way to make life more difficult for me. And at the same time, though, I tested myself. If I want to be a man more like Christ, well, I better be prepared to give. And so I gave when I had nothing. I offered when it hurt. And I have faith that God is with us. I have faith that the truth will set us free. When the egoic mind is willing to humble itself long enough to let go of old beliefs, then the new ideas can come in, and the truth frees us from deception. The truth frees us from confusion. And the reality is, in this world, there's family members of mine. I fucking love them deeply. People like, well, I faced many people who don't really seem to care. Margot was one of those.
You're close with your mom, aren't you?
She doesn't understand me either.
Did you have Thanksgiving with her?
Nope. No.
That is sad. And I'm not saying that to be mocking or hurtful whatsoever. I think sometimes in this world people get so hurt that when somebody comes along, they're almost thinking they're trying to hurt me. It gets to that stage or state of just thinking everybody's trying to hurt me. This occurs with millions of people in this world.
Well, it's by conditioning.
Quite logical if you think about it.
Fear has proven to be a very powerful tool for ruling. Hey, this clip we played earlier, in the description, Jack Talcott's journey proves that sometimes when you lose everything, you find what truly matters. And I do think this is the story that God's writing with me, from despair to divinity. Who knows? I don't claim anything about me, but I know that all goodness that comes through me is from God. All goodness that comes through any of you, anything, all goodness comes from God. And I seek to align with the goodness of God. And I know the truth freed me. When I lost touch with my family, my friends, my career, I thought I couldn't get over it. I couldn't continue. I couldn't. All that bullshit made me feel weak. So God allowed me the opportunity to prove that I can. We can continue. We can overcome. We have the opportunity in this lifetime to transform the future direction of mankind. I don't believe God, well, we have a bunch of selfish liars being enabled. We have criminals enabling criminals in the government and corporate positions of influence and power. I pray.
This is kind of how This is kind of how I view relationships that get bad. I like to use a couple. So say a man and his wife, one of them cheats on the other, and through the reconciliatory process, they decide to stay together, and one forgives the other. But at the end of the day, that stain always stays there. Nothing ever gets built back up to the point it was. It's always so whoever gets cheated on always has a raised level of awareness and skepticism with it. And this happens in family relationships too. And sometimes family relationships get so degraded to the point where you can reconcile it, but it's forever stained and it's forever changed. And I just think some people think you can get back what was lost. And I don't think that's I don't think that's an honest accounting of where you move from there. You know what I mean?
Great point, Joseph.
It's always going to be changed, and you shouldn't expect it to get back to normal. And this is just a consequence of how we treat people. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing, Jack. It sounds like you're upset, like you're putting yourself out there and you just want someone to accept you and bring you into the fold because you've been working on it so long. You saw your faults and you're trying to get back to that place. But you can, those expectations we put on others through our own journey of whatever, I don't like the word journey, but trying to fix whatever deficiencies we have in our brain, like you're never going to get there. You're never going to get back that relationship's dynamic. You know what I mean?
Oh, I realize that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was considering that this morning. My son and I will never have the bond we used to. Things will always change. I'm not trying to go to the past, but I have great hopes for my future. And I'm inviting anyone who feels guided. Let's see what we can accomplish. I actually think if my friends and family understood what I have learned and what I've been doing, if they gave me another chance, so to say, and they took me seriously in a conversation, well, it's my theory that God has already set up the way to get the solutions and the words into the Washington, D.C., to get the conversations directed to immediate reforms, peace on earth. That's why I do what I do.
Sometimes we just it's kind of a cold way to put it, but we just make a cost benefit analysis on relationships. And once they get so tarnished, it's like you can hope for a second chance, but like from the other person's point of view, it's like, what's the point? You know, it's like, does this bring me more suffering than peace? And that's fine. I don't think you should hold it against people for coming to those conclusions, especially if you hold yourself at fault for it. It's a tough pill to swallow, and it's one of the more depressing sides of life. It's, you know, but you can't go through life waiting for someone to forgive you, right? You forgive yourself the best you can, and then you just move forward.
Hey, thank you. That's exactly what I've been saying. I get all these people telling me, oh, your son will forgive you one day. One day he will. Well, you know what happens, the way people work? When we are encouraged, that's when we do things. It's when we find the courage within ourselves, when those around us give us the encouragement. I can't believe that people haven't seen the value in trying to encourage a young man to return to his father, or even the child's mother, encouraging the child's mother to have a conversation with me. I mean, I know my kid's not a kid anymore, but I imagine he'd feel better getting over shame or unforgiveness or resentment or whatever it is he's carrying.
But they come to that on their own through the reconciliation process. So you reconcile whatever's right.
Yep.
But pushing expectations on others, I don't think that's you don't.
Okay, I don't think you're not talking with me.
Yeah, you can clean your side of the street. You can't you can't clean the other person's side of the street. It's like an old AA cliche.
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not. Yeah. And so let's not focus on what we can't do. I mean, I'm really, my son, I do and I don't care. I think it would be amazing part of my story for my family to reunite, but it doesn't have to be him. Margot knows how to reach those people, but it doesn't have to be her. This life we're living is what it is. I actually believe the best way to overcome disagreements is through communication. Now, you can't force someone to communicate with you. Hell, can't even force someone to be present.
Even a court can't force that. I just want to jump in, and I'm not defending Margot. I'm not siding with her or defending her. But hypothetically, let's say she contacted your son and said, hey, listen, Dominic, your dad really wants to talk to you, wants a relationship. He wants to show you who he is today, wants to reconcile. And let's say your son said, no, I don't want to. It's not Margot's fault then. I mean, nobody can make your son do that. Just like,
No, you're
you
right.
get what I'm saying?
I would hope though that someone would at least question the decision. Why? What's preventing it? What would be the damage? What's the problem? I mean, that's the best way to forgive. Sincerely, it all comes from within. You're right, Joseph, but I've been studying different philosophies of the mind, and counseling has a purpose. Stephen, you brought up the courts. There's a reason the courts are set up the way they had, and I kind of thought about that earlier. I played the role as an arbitration advocate. We followed the rules of procedures for the court, pretended to be an attorney. Man, if I was better at cross-examination, I'd have probably resolved a bunch of this stuff in the past, but I was never very good at the cross. There's reasons, though, that they allow cross-examination. It's because the human ego is very manipulative. It's a liar. People will not realize. I mean, those old TV shows where the guy has the emotional thing on the stand. Well, that's the ego being adjusted. My ego got adjusted a lot. I've accepted responsibility in my life for everything that happened. I've done everything I could think of to make amends, to repair damage from long ago. I mean, when in my path of recovery, I did that, reached way back and tried to repair all damages. I found the value in healing. When I was in the rooms of AA, I was thinking about how much I'd love for my ex-wife to read, to understand those things.
Jack, let me give you an example of kind of where I'm coming from. So my sister growing up, she was about 4 years older than me. And I was raised by a single mom who worked, she was a nurse. She did 12-hour shifts. So it was me and my sister alone a lot when we stopped going to daycare. So my sister, when we were younger, she used to beat me up all the time, just from simple stuff like changing the TV channel. And my mom wasn't there to help me out, right? So she just kicked the shit out of me. And then as we got older, she never really liked me. And then I think by the time I was 16, I was finally strong enough. I finally popped her in the face a few times, and then the strength dynamic changed. And then moving forward from that, she was always distanced from me, and she was never in my life, even though we lived fairly close to one another. Never got calls, never, text messages, or just never a curiosity or an interest in me. And then when we got older, she kind of changed her tune. The point I'm trying to make is that damage done it cannot be changed. You know what I mean? So that's the part where you reconcile, but you never get the relationship back, right? You've done too much damage. There's nothing really to do about it.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I'm trying to give you an analogy of where I'm going with it.
I understand, but it doesn't really apply with the situation.
You don't think so?
No, because assigning blame, that's the way America has become.
It's not a blame. No, hold on. I got to stop you because you're already off. It's not assigning blame. It's a descriptor. It's a descriptor of truth. So just because it's negative doesn't mean it's a blame game.
Hey, Joseph, I just don't think you're getting it. God has the power to just heal.
Say that again, Hank.
God has the power to just heal those relationships. Just like that.
Here,
God has the power to heal. I see what you're saying.
Regarding the relationship with my son, I've never been allowed the opportunity to talk with him to find out exactly what it is that has him separated me for so many years. Okay, so going back through my own memory, There was no physical abuse. There was no sexual abuse. There was no negligence in the home. So the damages that have been imagined by my ex-wife and my son, I'd love a chance to better understand so that we might be able to move past the blame. See, this is my story. I got misunderstood. I got wrongfully accused. And then all sorts of blame came my way as the reason for people to push me away. Now, in the Bible, which was one of the last places I started going to, in Matthew, I think it talks about you go before you go to the altar, you go get a witness. Well, geez, that makes sense. Yeah, you go get a witness. If you've got a disagreement, you go get a witness and you bring in a witness to try and discuss what is true, what can be resolved. Since 2018, I mean, I was trying to get our son into counseling. I was trying to get his mother to take him to a church, take him to speak to a pastor, trying to get anything, trying to let me take him to a church, let me take him to a counselor. But that didn't happen. So my path brought me to study what those counselors might have offered anyway. And I know that any day now, the day of our Father, the day of the Lord, it's coming. I can't prove it, but I believe we are all a part of it. I know history is being created today. I have prayers that I get to be a messenger.
May I ask you a question?
Yeah, please.
Have you gone to counseling, Jack?
For what?
I mean, I know I've gone to counseling. I went to marriage counseling. I went to grief counseling.
Mm-hmm.
I went through a ton of counseling after I got sober because I didn't know myself as a sober woman.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if you went to counseling. I know you know a lot about it. You've studied a lot about it, but have you ever been a patient in a counseling session?
You
The big
know
book
that
counts,
about
is it?
me,
Just
Margot.
say you studied the big book, it counts.
I don't know what you said. That I kind of spoke over you there, Joseph. Sorry.
Alcoholics Anonymous is basically a counseling session. It counts. It has a bunch of self-reflective, introspective teachings in it. 12 steps, all of that.
I've been an Alcoholics Anonymous for over a decade, so I agree with you, Joseph.
Yeah, okay.
AA is kind of focused on addiction, though. It's not really focused on a lot of other issues. I think it hones in on that. It touches upon them, but
the specific vein that Margot brought up, she said she didn't know how to live sober. She didn't know who she was. That is exactly what the 12 steps focuses on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
and it's actually probably more therapeutic, and it has more to offer than any type of counselor couch you could find.
I'm curious about something Jack mentioned. He said he was wrongfully accused. Was that by your ex-wife or in a courtroom, or how did that play out? Like, it seems to be something that was hurtful. You feel blamed by your ex-wife for this current situation.
I don't blame. Well, I felt blame.
You don't.
Right.
Yeah, you feel blamed by her.
I was used. Their opinions of me were used as excuses for them to. I was wrongfully accused at work, ethics violations, just all sorts of crazy shit. Then from when my son started pushing me away and his mother wasn't allowing me to talk, again, I was trying to convince her, please take him to counseling. Please let me take him. Let's go to a church. Can we do something to try and help? Well, she refused. And so I took her to court. I took her to court to get her to go to mediation. And then we went to mediation, and part of the agreement was she would get our son to counseling. She started playing around and putting that off and putting that off. So I took her to court again for contempt. And that was where all sorts of horrible accusations got brought up against me. And they became a part of the record, but I was ignorant as far as how the courts worked, and her attorney certainly knew the process more than me. And this was before I started really looking into the bullshit law system of this society. So you asked if I've been to counseling, Margot. You know that already. And what I do know,
Jack, I'm going to stop you. I did not. I mean, I know that you went through Alcoholics Anonymous, and I knew your sponsor. He was a friend of mine, but I didn't know if you had sought. I didn't know if you had sought counseling.
Okay, now you admit that, but you've been running around claiming to be some expert on Jack, telling everybody how Jack is lying. You remember when Margot, we've discussed this before. I don't want to argue with you. There's many examples. You knew many of my efforts, and you, like others, you ignored what I said. You ignored what you knew so that you and your buddies, I'm remembering the messenger chat, you and your flying monkeys, Margot. You guys were vicious, dude. And that's all record. Praise God. Praise God.
Absolutely. Are you referring to the Postal Service people?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I came with a good vibe, Jack. I have no ill intentions today.
I'm glad to hear. It's a welcomed change.
Are we making progress here? Is that what's happening right now?
I think we are. I get the sense that we are today. I really do. And I actually understand Jack better now today after what he's opened up and spoken about. I haven't been here for years and years on Jack's channel, so I don't know all of the history between Jack and Margot or Jack's situation, but I didn't realize that Jack's ex-wife made these wrong accusations in court. I think that would take a heavy toll on any father or husband. I think that a lot of men get blindsided in court, not really realizing there can be a heavy bias against fathers and men a lot of times in the States and in Canada as well. Go ahead, Jack.
I think it's possible that this is why my life has been what it is, because if I got support from someone trained with the title of attorney, if I could get an attorney with some radical ambitions, there's precedent to be set with some of the shit that's happened with me. I mean, there's such gross violations of justice. So I know I'm not alone. Other people have had it way worse than me.
Jack,
but yeah.
If I may, how old is your boy?
He turned 22 earlier this month.
Oh, so he's still pretty young.
Well,
that should be an optimistic fact for you as far as reconnecting. You know, a lot of guys don't drop their anger until like 27, right? So they start getting older themselves, and then it kind of then they kind of drift back towards wanting to know their parents a bit more and letting things go. That usually comes with a bit more years.
Joseph, I will back that up with research. That usually happens between 25 and 27 in males. So good job.
Well, thanks. I was just kind of intuiting there, but thank you.
Yeah.
Well, we also live in a world where problems are enabled, disagreements are enabled, arguments, resentments, bitterness, it's all enabled. Because the reality is, if we were honest with each other, we wouldn't let each other carry around so much bitterness and anger and
Yeah,
shame.
but so what? I mean, that's the way the world is, and it's always going to be, you know.
Joseph, you don't know the future, and if you're predicting more of the past, then you're kind of missing out on what's here again.
I just think that's being I think it's an honest accounting. Like,
Sure.
you could use this is a
Without
good
change.
analogy for it. So people nowadays, some would make the argument people nowadays live like kings back in the day, but yet
Yep.
we have depression on the rise and things like this.
Right.
So
Right. It's
what I'm saying is, it's the world we have. It's the way it is, and it's the way it's
Mhm.
always going to be. So what?
No, Joseph,
You don't think so?
please. Well, check. I encourage you to check yourself on your predictions of the future.
I don't know why.
Patterns.
Yeah,
Patterns
I'm not a fortune
continue.
teller. Fine, I can't say with an
Okay.
absolute.
So please try to understand what I'm saying. What you're pointing out is true about the past. Yes, propaganda, mind control, misinformation. It's proven to be very profitable, right? People live in fears, not knowing, arguing, emotional, no plan, just telling each other that they're doing great. Brothers and sisters, my purpose, what God has placed in my heart, is to bring forth the transformation so that there's not more children sent off to voluntary service into combat zones, so that we face and reform the violent, oppressive systems that has mankind literally at war with itself.
The
Secrets
ontology
in
of
life.
mankind is a wheel, and it will always spin on. That's just in our nature, Jack.
Again, you're back to know it all, not trying to
Well,
understand.
it's all of our history proves it. Our nature proves it. So, like, why would I think any different?
Joseph, what nature and history proves is that secrets and lies have corrupted mankind. Okay, my son and my ex-wife are keeping the reality of me secret. They're telling each other lies. Lies are enabled. It's the same thing in politics. Neighbors are telling each other, oh, we can't do anything. We just have to suffer. No, we do not. We can move with faith. God is with us. Truth is on our side. It's time for wars to end.
Did God give man freedom of choice, Jack?
Yep.
So there's possibility of sin.
Have you not been? You haven't been. I talked about this earlier today.
These are rhetorical questions, just to get you to the
Joseph,
point where you say,
right? Your rhetorical question, you're in your mind. I don't know how to communicate. I don't want to cause offense. Free will. Yes, we have the free will to do as we choose. We can live with alignment with the truth, or we can live in our memories and our resentments and our habits. God has allowed me to transform me. The topic of my son, my family, whatever, those are possibilities. But my purpose is to be a good example, honestly. That's all it is. God's allowed me to make a lot of mistakes in my past. I'm very open and honest about what I've done and what I've faced. But the other side of this too, if anyone wants to be a hero, I'm looking for someone to try.
Joseph, are you saying that nothing can or will change? Is that kind of what you were getting at with speaking about nature and man's nature and all that stuff? You also
necessarily,
said that
yes.
something about, just hold on a second. You said something about people living like kings. Was that a veiled shot at me because I'm a king or living like a king? Was that?
Oh no, that was just an accident.
Okay. Understood.
No, what I'm hearkening to is the ontology of man. It's always, our nature will always be our nature. That's the point I'm getting at. So there's no stamping anything out. We are who we are. This is how God put us into being here. So, like, wrapping
Sure.
our heads against the wall trying to change it doesn't seem logical to me.
Okay.
You know?
I understand that, but the egoic mind, the patterns of people, the normal patterns, we make assumptions, and it's part of life. We've got to make assumptions. But what you just said, we don't know the true nature of man. All of us are becoming who we are as life continues. We realize who we become as life continues. That's the individual and it's the collective. Mankind has descended into this warlike beast, and modern society, we do, Joseph. We are so blessed to live today. And yet I used to be one of those statistics. I was overweight. I was an alcoholic. I was miserable because I didn't understand my mind. God has given us so much power, the power of the imagination. When we come to a conclusion, when we convince ourselves we know, I was wrong often in the past. And so what I've been practicing for myself, and I encourage anyone, if you're willing, allow yourself to start again often. You know what you know, you remember what you remember, whatever. You just move forward and learn. Paying attention, intentional learning, as though you, whatever your age, as though you're a child of consciousness here in the human form, because that's what we are. We're an experience that's happening. What we do today will affect our tomorrow happenings. And if we don't wake up and learn from the things of the past, we're doomed to repeat the same mistakes. But Joseph, from what I've learned, I'm telling you, man, my old friends and family, yeah, they found their reasons to avoid me. But since that time, I have been able to learn so much about the world and what
I can't hear him anymore. Can you guys?
Are you still there, Jack? You froze
my,
up for a second.
yeah,
no,
my,
what
Jack's
were you
back.
saying, Jack? Start from the beginning.
my time kind of separated from the day-to-day grind and the relationships. It allowed me to evaluate, to discover. There's so many opportunities to learn, so many different ways to learn, so many different places. I've been blessed by what I've been allowed to learn. And what I've been allowed to learn, it comes from what other people are doing. There are so many amazing people, so many amazing groups that are happening, right? Ordinary people coming together for these amazing groups, and things are happening in our world. I want to be a part of it.
It's happening now. I want to say something, if I may. This might come as a surprise, or people in the chat or whoever's tuned in may think this is the Twilight Zone with me saying this, but sincerely, I do feel empathy and compassion for Jack. Especially, it takes some courage to open up and speak about what he's been through with court, with his ex-wife, these sorts of things, and to be wrongfully accused. If that is true, if that's the case from Jack's perspective, that he was wrongfully accused in a courtroom by someone, that is a very hurtful thing to deal with, wrongful accusations. So I do feel compassion for Jack if he's gone through all of these things, and that's a tough thing to deal with in this life when people lie about you, and that might be the impetus for Jack being so against lies and secrets and these sorts of things today based on these experiences. So I do feel for Jack, and I'm not the asshole that some here may think I am in the chat room. I'm not the heartless, cold asshole that I might be. Some people might assume. So
Well, here, let me dogpile on because I might be, and just to put a cherry on top of it. regardless of fault, whichever way it goes, I don't think living a tortured life is the right way to go about it. I think you should just make your peace, reconcile, and then take these relationships, set them on a shelf, and if they come and talk to you down the road on their own initiative, cool. But until then, living the life of loneliness and seeking out for attachment, I think that needs to go on the shelf too. Until things come out and touch you, as in a sense. And that's the advice I would give. That's how you should move forward. Be nice to people too, even the dumb ones. Because it all
I'm
helps
trying.
in its own
I'm
little
trying.
ways.
I,
All right, that wasn't too bad.
I'm trying to be nicer to the dumb ones. There's a lot of them in this world.
Yes, King
Joseph,
Stephen, you do quite well with me, I must say.
oh,
Yeah.
Margot, you're not a dumb one at all. I think you're intelligent, and I think you're often quite polite and very warm-hearted. Joseph, also, I want to say, man, I didn't mean to be. I wasn't patronizing you. I was just teasing about the dog picture. I really do love dogs. So you're
That's
staring at your
fair. I
picture. I
wasn't
might even
sure.
adopt
I
a dog.
wasn't sure, so I aired on the side of, well, I'm going to say it. So
I do love dogs, and that's a beautiful picture.
yeah, her name is Brooke.
That's
She's a
all.
wonderful girl.
She's beautiful. And
Excellent.
Joseph, I've really enjoyed your input. I know that Jack hasn't appreciated all of it,
Well,
but
that's okay.
you're wise. I appreciate your openness. I can tell that you're talking from your heart, and you're not afraid of the outcome of what you say. You're just talking from the heart.
I
Well,
think
thank you.
he's tried to be very helpful here with everyone towards Jack. He's really trying, I think, to help out. And I think Joseph is sincere, and he opened up about his abusive sister that beat the shit out of him and all that kind of stuff in childhood. That takes some guts to open up and say certain things about, what has stayed with him.
Hey,
Go ahead, Jack.
thank you all. We're over the 2-hour mark. I'm thinking maybe I should start wrapping it up. I do want to thank all of you, Joseph, Stephen, Margot. I appreciate the energy and the civility with the conversations. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for having me
Thanks for
on.
having
And
me
I think we made some real progress here today. I really do. I think we understand each other a little bit better. Maybe not 100%, but a little bit better, a little bit deeper. I feel like I understand Jack's situation better and his mindset and what he wants to achieve here, his vision. So thank you for having me on, and bless all of you watching, brothers and sisters.
Peace to you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, brother.
Stephen.
Y'all have a good night. Thanks for having me up, Jack.
Joseph, thank you. I appreciate you too as well.
All right, Jack.
Margot?
Oh, yes, dear.
Oh, please.
I did have a resonating thought from the conversations the other day. Can I mention them?
Please do.
So I had heard you say on panel that you have done many good things. So I challenged that. I came up and asked you, what good things have you done? And you didn't say it. Your friends did. The other people on the panel did. And I think that you should really look in your heart and recognize the good things that you're doing, and be prepared to respond to those. If someone asks you, well, what have you done lately? And be proud of what you've done.
I encourage you, Margot, to look into your heart and answer that question for yourself about me. See if you can find the good things that should be apparent for someone who allegedly knows me. So thank you, Margot.
You're welcome.
Appreciate the advice. Brothers and sisters, this life, I know how I can come across because the story I'm living has a lot of variables. I'm just like everybody else. Take Margot out on a nice dinner, hash it out. I've offered coffee. And that's part of the past drama. it's been very challenging for me to communicate with people who found opposition with me. So it seems that fortunately, this is the place I get to do it. And I've been learning how to do it with less toxicity, because anger is a quality that none of us really need to embody. Yeah, there might be a time, there feelings happen, frustration, disappointment, but here, nurture your light. That really is the point. To remind us all that this life we're living, there can be a lot of darkness, there can be a lot of injustice out there, but two things. We don't want to ignore what life brings. If we don't, if we don't, if we just ignore things in life, sweep them under the rug, make an excuse, pretend like it doesn't happen, well, the standards of living continue to drop. Excuses diminish our life, our light, our life and light and love and wisdom. All of those things are together. So please, the world profits from our fear. The world profits from confusion and self-doubt. It prevents people from speaking up, which admittedly, as it was pointed out, I can certainly improve on allowing others to feel comfortable and safe in my presence so that they don't have the feeling of eggshells. But old habits are hard to break, I guess. And it seems like I've been expected to prove myself for a long time. Maybe you have too. Maybe it's time for you to accept yourself, to allow yourself, to enjoy yourself. Because truly, that's what I've been learning how to do. The situations, the darkness, the insecurities, all of these feelings that unsettle us, they come up, but you have the power within you. You have the power, and as long as you remember, you can overcome. We can change the way we feel by changing what we think. And what I know is it feels good to think about love. I love to think about love. I'm going to go back to thinking about love. And I want to thank you all again for joining, whether it was here or wherever. Blessings to you all. Thank you again. Choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless.